this might be a time to say, you want to jump on Patreon and do
we're going to need your financial help.
We're hope you guys liked that joke.
Yes.
So
please give us money.
Brunch.
Hit it, boys! Breaking news to me: a turkey flew through Stephen A. Smith's window at ESPN.
Yes, a turkey vulture.
A turkey vulture. What is it? Just means a predatory turkey.
I have no idea what a turkey vulture is. I cannot claim to know that species.
Okay. Well, a turkey flew into Stephen A. Smith's window, through his window. All I cared about, you were telling me, like, oh, is this happened, blah, blah. All I care about is, what did Stephen A. Smith have to say about it? What is Stephen A. Smith's reaction? Looked it up. His first thing was to make a suicide joke.
Oh, no. What did he say?
He quote tweeted a thing about the turkey flying through the window. Said, "Damn, even a turkey, capital T, Stephen A. Smith used to be a writer, is that depressed from seeing that I'm gone from Bristol, hoping it doesn't harm itself." And then with the prayers emoji. Terrible handling of that situation from Stephen A. Smith. Very disappointing. Stephen A. Smith has reacted to much less interesting things in much more interesting ways.
For sure. And by the way, I looked up what a turkey vulture looks like. It just looks exactly like a vulture, but with a turkey's face.
Really?
Yeah. Very ugly.
Gross. Did I tell you that I looked up Wolverines because I might go to a bachelor party where there are going to be Wolverines there? You can guess how this ends.
So you're not going.
Either with me not going or me not being alive anymore.
Yeah. One
of those two things.
Why is there Wolverines?
Very upsetting.
Oh, because it's in the woods? Like a camping thing?
It's a camping... I'm very upset. I've yet to have this talk with this person. It's one of my best friends who has... when you're getting married, by all means, do whatever you want. He would rather not have a bachelor party and instead take the bachelor party time to do like a camping trip, which by all means, you're getting married.
It's your wedding, bro.
Do whatever you want. But this is a specifically, you know what would be the absolute last thing DJ could do while staying alive? I think maybe he's taking the opportunity to replace his bachelor party with a way of finally getting rid of me. He's like, all right, fellas, let's all go to this thing where you're going to get killed.
Maybe he just needs to trim the guest list on the wedding.
It's
a pretty good way to do it.
Here's the thing, not to brag, I'm very high on that guest list. So if I'm not going to the wedding, there's not going to be a lot of people at that wedding. We're fucking important to each other. So if this would be...
Hey, he's inviting you on the Wolverine trip, so you're not that important.
It could be... For whatever reason. I don't want to sound like I am... I'm gonna besmirch this person in person. So I'm not going to do it here. Okay. But I have thoughts about this type of thing. Again, I'll yell. He's like my best friend. I will yell at him.
For some reason, when you said that that the bachelor party was going to have Wolverines at it, I just assumed that the Wolverines were on the guest list.
No,
for some reason.
He's like, oh, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah,
we're going to have strippers, Wolverines.
He's going to Nashville with Wolverines and also a few friends.
I looked up the types of animals that would be at this sort of camping thing, and Wolverines were like scratching the surface. It's like you're going to have bears, the kind that kill you, obviously, plus... And then there's a bunch of other ones.
Wolverines are the special guests.
Right.
Like bears, special guests, Wolverines.
Actually, no. Wolverines are one that you're going to see a lot, too.
Do Wolverines kill people? I thought they only killed, like, small...
I didn't know what a Wolverine looked like. I had to look up what a Wolverine looked like. And when looking up what Wolverines looked like, I was pleasantly surprised to find an article that said Hugh Jackman did not know that Wolverines were an actual animal before taking that role. Hilarious.
It's awesome.
I love when people take roles for movies and it's just assumed that they're taking this role because they're very invested in whatever's going on in the movie.
Like,
when in reality, they just really want to act. They love acting, and they'll try all sorts of new things. They'll present. Like, do you think that do you think that Daniel Day-Lewis was like, yo, I am huge into making dresses, and when the opportunity finally came to play
Daniel
Day-Lewis
Day-Lewis is the world's biggest Abraham Lincoln old oil and also dress fan.
Yeah.
And he just somehow lucked into those roles.
It was a long con for Daniel Day-Lewis to finally be a dressmaker. He had to become an actor first.
Yes. I love the idea of Hugh Jackman being on like a press tour for X-Men, and like them just like bringing out a Wolverine as like a cool little addition, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And they're like, "That's a Wolverine," and he's like, "Yo, that's a real thing."
Yeah.
They're like,
how'd you make that? You got velociraptors in here too? This is really neat. I'm pretty sure velociraptors aren't real, right? Raptors are real, velociraptors are not.
Are raptors real?
Yes. That there is some confusion.
Not
there.
Anymore.
Right, not anymore. They died. There is some confusion over which dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are actually real. And for a while, I thought that raptors weren't real because I knew that one of the main species in Jurassic Park was just made up for the movie. I'm pretty sure it's velociraptors, that they just put a cool word before raptor and made it up. Also, bunnies aren't real.
Bunnies are not real. Yeah, that's true. That's already been covered on this podcast. But we're going to do a lot of bunny content today with the movie Us.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There's a lot I didn't understand about that movie. No, that's not true. There's one major qualm I had with it.
And it's the bunnies.
The bunnies thing, I was like, you didn't need that. Plus, I already saw a bunny movie this year. It was called The Favorite. It was way better.
The Favorite, yeah, that's right.
Although, Us is a very good movie. A lot of bunnies going on in there. Do we want to jump right into the Us conversation?
Yeah, I suppose. Why not?
Okay. Are we doing spoilers?
We have to do spoilers. It's if you haven't seen Us, go see it. It's very, very much worth seeing. It's a very interesting movie. Probably one of the best of this half of the year, at least.
Yeah.
But you definitely probably are not going to want to listen to this review first because it's going to be spoiler heavy. There's no way we can talk about this movie without discussing spoilers.
It's scary-ish. It's not that suspenseful. I popped a pill before I saw the movie.
You pop a pill before doing this podcast because you're falling asleep.
Oh, there's only one other person here. Who we blaming on this?
I need to pick up my game. You're right.
Who we blaming? What? It's not this comfortable chair that's putting me to sleep.
You really popped a pill before going to see Us?
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, just a little.
Quell the anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, just level me out a bit. And I didn't need it. It's not that suspenseful of a movie.
I tried to tell you that. You were like, I can't go see this movie at night.
No, yeah. So my original plan, I bought a ticket to see it at 8:30 on Sunday, and Sunday was a big day. I had a lot of stuff going on that day anyway, but I decided relatively early Sunday I just wasn't going to go, and I blamed it on. Again, I was tired. I was coming back from Vermont. I had a few things to do that day, but I was like, also, I don't want to see a scary movie at night, especially on a Sunday night where there's going to be a lot of people in the theater. It's going to be all scary. I'm going to be around people. It's like my 10 least favorite things in the world. I don't want to do that. So I didn't. And I bought 2 different tickets to see it. Bought a ticket to see it Sunday night. Did not use it. Bought a ticket to see it on Monday during the day. Saw it. Worked out handsomely.
Yeah, I saw it on at 10:30 p.m. on a Friday night, which complete nightmare because I hate going to the movies when there are people there.
Yes.
And that was a big time for that. But it really wasn't that scary. I went with Ellen, who absolutely hates scary movies, but she was very down to go see Us because she loved Get Out. And so, yeah, like, she did fine. And she was literally worried about that she might have to leave the theater if it was too scary.
Yeah.
And, like, go hang out outside.
That was the benchmark when I said I wouldn't go at night. And you said, yo, Ellen went at night, and she was fine. And then we got into the debate of who's tougher, me or Ellen.
Ellen is for sure tougher.
I know. You were the one that was trying to say, like, oh, don't worry. If Ellen could do it.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, a person tougher than me could do it.
But She is tougher in every aspect of life except for scary movies. She cannot do scary movies at all. She's
I don't
bad.
know. I'm very fake with the scary movies I see. I don't see anything that's gonna have jump scares. I see something that's gonna be so ridiculous that
Like
it's
Escape
not
Room.
scary. Like, I mean, even Escape Room, I wondered if that's gonna be. I always get this anxiety towards the end of the previews when I'm seeing a scary movie because I've just seen previews for scary movies. That's the worst part of seeing the scary movie. They have previews for scary
Yeah, that's
movies.
the worst.
I always get
Man.
this little thought a couple minutes before a scary movie starts. Wait a second. What if this is legitimately scary and I'm scared? I would hate to be scared.
Were you scared when you went to see Halloween?
No, I've seen that movie. I'd seen every Halloween movie before.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you'd see the new Halloween movie. Maybe it was scary.
Yeah, but unless they really ramped it up. Halloween movies are just a person being chased by someone who's walking.
Yes,
I
that's
can
very
handle
true.
that.
That's very true.
I can handle
You
that.
can do like slashers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that in Us as well.
Yeah,
where
it's-
someone's running away from somebody, the other person's walking. I'm like, cool.
It's essentially
I know
a
at some
slasher.
point they're going to stop, and then the other person will be in front of them. I can handle that.
Yeah, it's basically just a really creepy slasher. It's not like a jump scare movie. There's like maybe one or two jump scares, but it's really nothing absolutely terrifying. You won't spend the movie with your eyes in front of your face.
It's
I mean,
also
your hands in front of
like
your eyes.
Hell or High Water, where it takes a while for them to actually start killing people, and you wonder, ooh, is this a kind of creative horror movie where there's actually no death? And then they start killing, and then they show. But there's only probably like 4 or 5 death scenes, which is a very low number for a horror movie.
Yeah, for sure. And well, I guess this is the part where we're getting into spoilers. But so if you want to turn it off, go ahead. But there's only like 4 or so like deaths of like not quote unquote like not bad characters or whatever. Like only like 4 like good characters die.
That's the only other deaths you really see are just you see dead bodies
Right.
where they show them on the news and stuff. But there's only between 3 and 6, we'll say, scenes of somebody going up to somebody and killing them, or someone in some sort of struggle killing them. So it's not bad, and those deaths aren't graphic either. So it's just like they're all with scissors. You can survive that. I like that we said, all right, stop listening at this
Yeah,
part.
and now we're explaining the movie to people.
And then we gave here's why you can see the movie if you're afraid of it. So people stopped listening before we got to the part where we would reassure them about the movie. But
Okay. What'd you think?
I thought it was really good. It wasn't Get Out, but I wasn't comparing it to Get Out. You don't do that. You don't
You
do
just
that
did.
with no. you don't. You just because somebody makes something that's great that nobody else has made, to assume that they're going to make that again is really dumb.
Yeah. I thought this was like really in the sweet spot of being like Get Out in like the sort of like the subject manner, I guess, and like sort of in a space where Jordan Peele can thrive, but also different enough from Get Out to be its own separate movie. And I think they kind of felt like a really good sweet spot between those two areas.
Jordan Peele does 2 things in these movies. I'll get to the one with which I have a qualm in a little bit. But Jordan Peele's sort of skeleton is hold a lot of time for what's going on. So even when you're halfway through the movie, you don't really get what's going on. And in horror movies, generally, there's a guy that's running around killing people, and you might not know who he is or why he's doing it, but you know, hey, what's this movie about? This guy's going around killing people. In Get Out, in Us, even as they say this is who we are, you do not know what's happening until very, very late in the movie. That's cool. Now to explain the movie, it's about every person has another version of themselves, which is called a shadow, and they're like tethered to each other, and the people who are your shadow live underground with all the other shadows, and this is about the shadows coming up and kind of trying to take over the world and kill the other version of themselves,
quote unquote real life counterparts.
Yeah, and the big twist is that Lupita and Nyong'o, who's the main character, her shadow is the one that leads all the people that come up and try to kill everyone. The big twist is that Lupita and Nyong'o is actually a shadow, and she switched places with her real person when she was younger. So the person that came up was actually her trying to set everything right. Very deceiving in how that was handled. I feel like it would have been made... they saved that twist for the end, obviously. But at the initial confrontation, that would have been said. That's an issue that I have.
Yeah, I suppose. I guess like the question is whether or not... Well, the main question
there was
is,
an answer for everything. This was a
Right.
plot hole for which there is not an obvious answer. I'm going to see it again to double check that, but...
well, there's a big question about whether the quote unquote. How are we going to handle this? Because like, I don't want to say the real Adelaide, because the real Adelaide was the when we're talking.
It's tough,
when we're talking about the real Adelaide, we're talking about the family one, not
the one that we've
wearing
seen for
red.
most of the movie.
The one
Yeah.
when we say red, we'll be talking about the one who is red for most of the
The
movie.
one who comes up and is killing everybody,
Yes.
which again is actually the real one. But when we say Adelaide, it's the Adelaide we see the entire movie.
So there's like a lot of question as to whether Adelaide knew she was red, or if she had sort of like repressed that memory.
Okay.
And so, like, when Red does come up and sort of lays the groundwork in the living room, she is sort of explaining that.
So
but,
that's my issue. That scene was my issue. Red doesn't say that, and maybe
she
if
does.
you watch it again, you're like, oh, okay, she's kind of saying it. But why doesn't she expressly say, "You switched places with me. You know what you did." Blah 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 blah.
But would you even believe her in that? Like, if you're Adelaide in that thing, in that situation, and you are...
Yeah, because you've already seen a scene in which those two people run into each other when they're young. You'd be like, oh, okay. That's not... So, I guess... Cool twist spoiler, or twist ruiner 20 minutes into the movie,
Yeah.
but whatever, Jordan, I trust you.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, like it would definitely ruin the movie, and like I still don't know if I would necessarily believe that if I was in Adelaide's place and this person was like, "Yo, you switch spots with me." Like if somebody came in through my door right now and it was like an evil version of me and was like, "Yo, I'm the real you," but 20 years ago, you may not remember this, but like 20 years ago, you knocked me unconscious and dragged me down to the depths of hell and swapped places with me, I'd be like, yo, you're fucking crazy. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to try saying that, though.
I guess.
It really doesn't.
I think that a lot of like parts of this movie, though, like once you bring logic into it and you really overthink it, then a lot of it doesn't make sense. Or at least there are a lot of questions to be answered.
You agree with me, though. I am not overthinking it. I am saying... If their relationship is that this one person completely screwed them over and ruined their life, when you finally catch up to that person, you're going to give a 4-minute speech and not make any mention of kind of the reason you're there, of why you've got an issue with this person.
Yeah, I don't think you're really.
You couldn't say to that whole family
by reaching here, it's
right?
A pretty.
You couldn't say
decent ask.
It is a. I'm not asking for much there.
Probably
to
the
not
baseline.
point out. Yes, that is the first thing I say, and I'm a talkative cat. I could come up and say, "Hey, have you heard this new album?" Blah blah blah. I'll get to those things after I say, "Hey, so about the whole thing that you did. Hey, your family. Just so you know, this is what this person did. We're here to kill. We've got some scissors, and that's that." So I knock it down to, I mean, Get Out was tens across the board. That was 100. I would say Us is high 80s.
Yeah,
because
I would say
dock
like
it
87.
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I mean, because I dock it a full letter grade for pretty gaping hole there. And again, I'm going to rewatch it to see if maybe
definitely planning on rewatching.
She's speaking some sort of code that they speak in the underground that I don't know. Maybe she was I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
Yeah, Jordan
She
Peele
did
is so
not
much
come out and
smarter
say
than
it,
both
though.
of us, and like he spends so much attention to detail.
Well, he did. He does. He didn't get out, and that's why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. It did not seem like he did that in this movie, though.
Well, I think that, like I said, like there are a lot of things that there are a lot of questions to be answered when you really bring logic into it, especially with like the underground experiment. With like just one of the bigger questions I had was like, why didn't she just leave? If she's this child that grew up for like 8 years on Earth and then was knocked out and brought down to whatever the tunnels were called, like the tethered tunnels.
Yeah.
And she gets locked up there, but like, can't she just find her way out at some point rather than driving herself to insanity for so long in the ground? Like, if
I
the
don't know.
original,
You see how long it took Batman to get out of that thing in the ground, and he was ripped. This kid hasn't gone through puberty yet. Doesn't have any muscles.
Batman didn't have an escalator to get out.
Did they have it? Did they?
They had
use
a
an
literal escalator to get down to the place.
Really?
Yeah,
That accessible.
There's a scene with an escalator.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I have some questions about that. But, you know, overall, like, I didn't have too many problems with it. I tried not to overthink it in terms of, like, all right, here's what we were presented. I'll take just what we're presented, and I think there's enough there to work with for it to be enjoyable. I did think that it didn't work as well as Get Out in terms of, like, the dynamic between...
See, now we are doing it. It is very unfair to compare. It's like listening to every Michael Jackson album. There's only one person in the world made Thriller, and yeah, because it's Michael Jackson, you want everything that he does to be Thriller.
No, I know. Like, but I'm just saying, like...
And I also don't
like,
want to discredit Jordan Peele, though. He is great.
No, definitely. But like when it's this is not just a Jordan Peele thing. When a director does something and sort of has a style that he's establishing, it's only natural to sort of compare it to other things that he's done. Like I just felt like the humor was a bit jarring at certain points during Us.
Yeah.
Especially for like the family and sort of just like the points at which they used humor, because it's like this is the most traumatic, like as the family was running away from the tethered and trying to escape them, like that is the most traumatic thing that family has ever gone through in their life.
Yeah.
And it is like it all takes place in the course of one night.
Yeah, it's basically a break-in movie,
Right.
Yeah,
And like it's a break-in movie where they're being hunted, and also at the same time it's basically an apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
Because it's happening to everybody else in the world, and yet like these characters are still throwing around like one-liners and having like a goofy old time at certain points.
I forget what the scene is. Yeah, where they're hiding behind the car, and the dad says something silly. We'll get to that, and like the daughter kind of gives him like a dad kind of look.
And then like with the girl who hops into the driver's seat and it's like, I'm driving, and they have like a big old argument being like, like who's gonna drive?
And they talk about their kill counts.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on?
They missed a very obvious joke there too when she was saying I have the highest kill count. The dad, if they were really sticking to fun dad humor, he was gonna say, well, we're not trying to have you add 3 to that kill count.
There you go. Would have been a good line.
Get it?
Yeah.
You can get us killed.
Yeah,
you
man.
driving.
So, I thought that I enjoyed a lot of the humor, and I thought that a lot of it was clever. I just felt like some of it was misplaced.
I have a point off of the humor, and I have a point off of Jordan Peele. I guess I'll just I'll start with the humor one, because the Jordan Peele thing is more taken into task. That's going to be a big moment.
Oh, boy.
The humor thing is I would just like to see a movie about that family going on vacation where they don't get terrorized.
Just a comedy?
That was a great family. The dad was awesome. classic dopey kind of dad, embarrasses the kids
Hell
even though
yeah.
nobody else is around. The stuff on the boat, hilarious. He was what's the actor's name?
Winston Duke.
Winston Duke was basically Pete Holmes's joke about Pete Holmes being a dorky dad. He was just an A+ dorky dad, and
He also had a great look, just a crew neck sweatshirt. Well, it was a Howard sweatshirt and like short shorts.
Yeah, in general, crew necks, by the way, all the way back, V-necks completely out. Whenever I put on a V-neck,
like,
I used to wear
shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
V-necks are big time out.
Yeah, unless they're deep V's, because then you can pull off like the artsy sort of deep V.
But even so, like a lower cut
Right.
crew is more the
yeah,
type
no,
of thing.
I agree.
What happened to that? When did that happen?
V-necks were killed by Henleys.
But Henleys were always around.
Henleys have made a strong comeback in recent years.
Henleys are definitely big, but yeah, it's weird that V-necks. When I put on a V-neck, I'm like, this looks bad. Why did I ever wear V-necks? Well, and I've always worn
V-necks
Henleys.
look bad on you because you, like maybe before you got wide.
It's not.
You need
as
a
good.
chest. You need a chest to pull off a V-neck.
Yeah, but I look okay, I guess, in Henleys, and I've always done Henleys.
Yeah, because Henleys you don't need a chest because Henleys are sort of like they come off as somewhat artsy.
Yeah.
Rather than like a V-neck, because I feel like V-necks have been claimed by meatheads.
God, I got sorry, Boston Bar character update. Sorry, finally, it's been getting some high marks recently. As I told you, young men bumping into each other, being polite about it, guys high-fiving, hugging in the bathroom. Just really happy
where
with
this update's
where the young men in Boston bars scene is. They've been very well behaved. Whenever I've been at one in like once every 6 months, I've been pleasantly surprised. I was at a bar a few weeks ago. A guy was wearing a Henley and was trying to talk to one of our friends, and I said to him, "Nice Henley, man." And he said, I don't know what that is. I said, "It's a shirt you're wearing." And he did a very kind of toxic masculinity sort of, okay, whatever you say it's called. I just call it a shirt. And his two friends were like, they came up to, they were like, "Sorry, he sucks."
I love that.
Yeah, and I was like, I know. I just experienced that he sucks. You don't got to tell me twice.
Well, that's I like that the bros are apologizing for the toxic.
So you know what? Yeah, maybe it's like one step backwards, two steps forward.
Yes, there you go.
You do want my point on Jordan Peele?
Yeah.
He's problematic.
Is this the big one?
Yep.
All right, let's save this till after the break.
Okay, you're gonna want to hear
It's
it.
called a tease. Fellas, you know you want to smell good because smelling good is important. Nobody wants to hang around a stinky fella.
Not definitively. Some
that's
people,
true. I don't
Some
wanna-
people like hanging around stinky people.
I don't want to besmirch the stinky fellas. They're still people, and you should treat them nicely.
But we imagine a lot of people don't want to be around stinky people.
I think, in my view, it is ideal to smell good.
Your personal experience.
My personal experience, it is ideal to smell good. But you know what the problem is? Some of these colognes and fragrances.
You don't know what the problem is.
In my view.
Okay, thank you.
Some of these colognes and fragrances, they can be expensive.
Can be good.
Yes, can be. They're not always expensive. They can be good, expensive. And, you may not like to go out and find them. You might be too lazy for that. But guess what? With Scentbird, you've got a great way to appease your taste without breaking the bank. Whether it's Versace, Gucci, or Dolce & Gabbana, Scentbird.com keeps you smelling good month after month. You know what? I can attest to this personally.
You can.
I
want definitely. You can.
In my personal experience, Scentbird is great because they send you the fragrances. They've sent me about 5 of them, And I'm still plowing through those babies. I don't often put on fragrances because I don't go outside much, but sometimes I like to spice things up around the house, give myself a nice little spray. Sometimes I like to use a different cologne so I feel like a stranger to myself.
That is a very
Some wild
good move.
shit. It's like using your left. It's like using your left hand.
To write?
Cut that out of the read.
No, to write? I do that all the time.
Yes, yeah. Like I like to write myself some love notes with my left hand, so it seems like you're getting it from a stranger.
I would not write myself a love note, but
Well, you're not. It's from a stranger. You don't recognize the handwriting.
you don't recognize the handwriting. Very good.
So, what is Scentbird? Scentbird is a luxury fragrance subscription service that allows you to mix up your cologne and perfume routine. It's a way for you to discover new colognes or perfumes without buying an entire bottle. Who wants an entire bottle? Not me in my experience.
Not me. That's too big.
I like
also,
to give a little taste.
We are not
also-
guaranteeing this is what Scentbird is. This is just what, based on our experience with Scentbird, this is what we have found it to be.
I prefer the little taster bottles of cologne.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Why?
because I'm a smaller person. Why do I need a full bottle of cologne when
Why
I'm not
waste?
a full body person?
That is very courageous.
Scentbird has more than 450 designer brands from you to choose from, and they'll send you a bunch each month. Try the brands you want. It's the real deal. Gucci, Tom Ford, Kenneth Cole, Burberry, Prada, and more. Choose the cologne, and they'll send you a 30-day supply. That's 120 sprays, enough to apply more than 4 times daily per month. I don't know if we want to say that's definitive. Could have more surface area than your average person.
I've got a heavy trigger finger.
Ooh.
When I spray, maybe more comes out than when some
Got a heavy flow.
Yes, when the average person, maybe they just do a little tap. When I press all the way down,
You're like,
coats my go. Yep.
You rev up that cologne.
Finish this read so we can make a joke about that.
Okay. Not sure what type of scent you're looking for? You can sort colognes and perfumes by brand, occasion, season,
If you
style,
want.
and more. If you want. Check out user ratings as well. They might not be definitive, but you can find out what other people think of them.
Just one man's opinion
Yes,
or woman,
exactly.
whomever.
And for our fans, our listeners of this podcast, we've got an exclusive offer for you, and that's 50% off your first month. That's only $7.50 for your first fragrance, $7.50. Go to scentbird.com/brunch and use the code BRUNCH for 50% off your first month. That's Scentbird, SCENT, bird.com. I don't know why they assume that you don't know how to spell scent but know how to spell bird, but it's in the copy. Scentbird.com/brunch.
They're just making sure.
Try your first cologne or perfume for just $7.50. Sign on, smell amazing.
Good read.
Thanks, man.
Covered all of our bases.
I hope.
We've gotten a little backlash of late for saying definitive things.
It's Monday and people are pissed.
I don't
and
know that
most
it's
of the people
necessarily
are
that they're
advertisers.
definitive things. It's clearly what was said definitively.
Yes. We shouldn't get into it, but I kind of want to. We have amazing ad reads, and the only people that don't like them are the advertisers.
Oh no, I mean they're everybody should be able to tell that by now because you screen grabbed one of them and tweeted them
It was the
out.
most obvious, like, it's very clear who
Yeah.
this advertiser is.
Well,
And
we've said that somebody complained that one of the hosts, we're not going to name names, one of the hosts acts very transfixed by their product and sounds dizzy and distracted every time its name is said. But we didn't say who that was. We didn't
Nope.
say which host. We didn't say which advertiser. If you guys are guessing, then that's just a guess on your part.
It's not definitive.
It's not definitive. And then this other one,
so
they said one of the hosts repeatedly
said that bald people were gross.
bald people are gross, which is not what I think the host said. I think the host said people will think you're gross. The host was merely shaming shallow people.
Shaming just toxic people.
Yes, we've since gotten multiple, even from the good guys, saying, "Hey,
Like you're on.
We know you
3.
guys have fun, but in all seriousness, you can't be doing stuff like this. And we said, you got it. I don't know what's going to happen next,
So stay
but I
tuned for next
cannot
week
wait
in
to
brunch.
do the next read for that advertiser.
Stay tuned to find out which company is not paying us because they're pissed at us next week.
I can't wait to see us do the read for that advertiser and whether him or her is
Not
angry.
definitive.
If we send it for him or her, will they like it? We'll find out because we don't know what's coming next.
It's tough when you do an ad read to know if it's really adequate for him's or hers.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I'm reading it, I'm looking at you and I'm saying this is working for him.
Yeah.
He's enjoying it. We're getting laughs, we're getting banter. This is
really connecting for him.
This is connecting for hims.
.com.
This is connecting for hims. Promo code brunch. This is connecting your hair to your head.
Right, and it's like sometimes
This is improving your sexual wellness.
Sometimes it seems like somebody's confused over what like the deal that they're getting or something, but it's really just a bunch of like joy birds swirling around their head. And
Yes,
they're just like really transfixed by it.
That is. Well, what did you say?
Joy birds, like it's when remember in like cartoons when it'll be like somebody's concussed and there's a bunch of happy birds swirling around their head, and they're just like transfixed on that,
Joy
and
bird.
trying to like gain their awareness. That's like you sometimes when you do ad reads and you really like the product.
You said Joybird?
Yes,
Joybird.
Joybirds. Okay,
What was
do
the
you
rest
think
of what
about-
you were saying?
I don't know. You were lost. You're clearly in another place.
This might be a time to say, you want to jump on Patreon and do.
Yeah, we're gonna
stuff
need your
that-
financial help.
We're hope you guys liked that joke.
Yes.
So
Please give us money.
Jordan Peele.
You're the only ones.
Here's why Jordan Peele is problematic. How come the girl's always the bad guy?
Ooh.
It's always the girl. Always the woman.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Is she really a bad guy in Us? That's what I like about the movie. I think that's if I have to take away.
Oh, it's a
one
young woman
thing-
who's the bad guy.
Yeah, sorry. No.
Not
No.
a young woman. She was 8. She was a child.
Yes.
Little child. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
No, I think my biggest takeaway from Us and what I liked about it the most is that it really makes you question as to whether the villain is even like a bad person, whether they're even villains.
Right. Like you wonder how long Adelaide has been a good mom and if she's doing everything right in her life since that terrible. It's the old when people get in trouble, they're like, hey, I was a child and I'm sorry I did that when I was younger, blah, blah. If Adelaide gets busted for being red, she had that scary little smirk at the end. Does she get to do the, it was so long ago, I was a child, I made a mistake.
Statute of limitations
yes.
have expired.
Yes, does she pull that?
She might. I think she could
But
honestly
she's
just
clearly
play
a bad guy
she-
because at the end she smirks.
Yeah, but I don't even think that makes her a bad guy. Like she's clearly maybe her, but like the other tethereds, like they're definitely not bad guys. I think that like they're portrayed that way, obviously, because they're the villains coming into.
Well,
the
they're
story.
messed. They're operating on a different wavelength.
right? But they have their own motivations.
Yeah.
And so I like that dynamic where it like really makes you question whether like the quote unquote others
Yeah.
are evil or whether or not they've just been like pushed to that point by the way that they've been treated their entire lives. Like, could you even blame them
Right.
for trying to overthrow the people above them?
It's the old kill your masters kind of
Yeah.
thing. We would be remiss if we did not talk about the scariest part of the movie. Everybody has, as we said, a shadow, someone that looks just like them, and it is a slightly creepier, slightly to greatly creepier looking version of that person played by that same actor or actress. Elizabeth Moss is terrifying in this movie.
Yeah, she's always a little bit unsettling, to be honest.
Yeah?
Even in her regular roles.
Really? Who does she?
She's in The Handmaid's Tale.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I only know her as mainly know her as Peggy Olson, Mad Men.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. No. I just feel like she always has like this wide-eyed, like deer in a headlights look.
She has very distinct eyes.
Yes.
She's, but yeah, she is. She's like an annoying, unhappy wife in this movie, and who's very into like wearing a lot of like cool colors and like. It's vodka clock, all that whole sort of scene.
She's just like the old housewife who hates her husband,
right?
And is just like really wondering where things went wrong for her.
Yes, but she's too drunk to find an answer to that. Her shadow is horrifying.
Oh yeah,
just greasy, straight down hair, expressionless. Not even like a no makeup thing, like made up to look like her face is. I don't know if like your face without makeup is on a scale of stuff added to it is like 0 because that's kind of the base, and a very made up face would be like a 5. Her face, the way they make it up, is like a -26.
Yeah, it's almost like she's been stuck underground for like the past 20 years.
It is right. It is. Yeah, right.
I don't
looks like someone who has had no light.
sunlight. Yeah, it's sort of like I just finished watching Room, and it's what's her name, Brie Larson. And like the beginning, they clearly make her look like a person who has been stuck without a lot of sunlight and without a lot of maintenance. For a while in her life, and that's sort of what. Elizabeth Moss's character looks like.
Elizabeth Moss is the only, come to think of it, the only one in the movie because her husband and her kids look the same.
Her husband looks a little like.
Her husband, I would say, maybe overacts a little bit. he makes like he makes a crazier face. He and the daughter, Lupita Nyong'o's daughter, both probably win the awards for. Maybe overdid it a bit on making crazy faces, but other than that, Elizabeth Moss looks very, very scary and just acts super creepy.
Well, that was like the real point of the movie, like the Elizabeth Moss family. That I was like, oh, okay, now we're really revving things up a notch.
That's
like,
a great scene. It's set to Good Vibrations.
Was it Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I think so. Was it something else?
No, I'm not. I thought of the Marky Mark one. I was like, what the hell?
Oh no.
I was like, I didn't realize that was a Beach Boys song too. And then it was "Fuck the Police" after that.
Yeah, that was a little corny.
I thought that it was like a weird. That was like another one of those weird humor scenes, but I appreciated that more than I just like the nod to like technology fucking up.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what I thought that it was going to play the police, and when it played "Fuck the Police," I'd already had it in my head like it's not going to be funny when it plays the police because this is such an obvious joke.
Yeah.
And then they played "Fuck the Police," and I thought. That's not funny because it's such an obvious joke.
I didn't know if this was like an intentional nod or not.
Jordan used to write comedy. What? Getting a little rusty. Yeah.
No, I didn't know if this was intentional or not. Ellen pointed it out, but like, "Fuck the Police" coming straight from the underground.
Oh, that I could see very much being
because the tethered come from the underground. I think that was maybe a nice little nod there, nice little reference.
Okay, yeah, I could see him do those are the types of things you expect from Jordan Peele, and that's why I am upset that there is seemingly such a gaping kind of plot hole there. But that was a very great scene with the Beach Boys playing and all hell starting to break loose.
That was also like a scene where like this shit's not over yet because the family sort of escaped from the thing, and I was like, what's going on?
And
with
you think
this
it's
movie?
just contained to them, yeah.
And then like all of a sudden, shit kind of really turns sideways at that scene. So that was a pretty good scene and a pretty good point for it to like pick up a little bit.
Yeah, but very good movie. Not scary, not that suspenseful,
Makes
again,
you think.
if
It'll stick with you for a while.
Yeah, if you've survived any break-in movie, and usually break-in movies have more jump scares than this did. This did not really have jump scares. It had a lot more of like shots to someone standing there, but that's again, you're talking to the biggest fraidy cat with that sort of stuff. I could survive it. You can survive it.
Yeah, and this is a movie that's definitely going to stick with me for a while. I definitely want to see it again. There's a lot to unpack for sure, and it's one of those movies that's sort of fun to like read up on immediately after you leave, and I know that I did. And there's a theory on Reddit that was posed that suggests that Jason, the Adelaide's
I haven't
son,
done any reading yet. I don't know if I
Really?
should before or after my second viewing.
I think that
In between, maybe?
in between is
Yeah.
like a good point for reading.
Because then you can do the old Breaking Bad thing where you go into
look
it being
for it.
like, when does he become Heisenberg?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Reddit theory that I saw was that Jason is also secretly tethered, and so like the nod at the end of the movie to Jason in the front seat, and then he puts the mask down. That's like a recognition that like
We did it.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's obviously like a huge assumption.
Yeah.
But there is some things to like suggest
Yeah.
that it could be true. Like he's the only one who can like directly control, because that's how he ends up killing his quote unquote red version.
Yep.
Is he like they mimic each other's actions, and they're the only two that really that happens for.
Yeah.
And
He's the only one that interacts with a weird ass thing on the beach other than her. Remember
It's
he
true. Yep.
he walks towards him and disappears.
Yeah, and so like him and his tethered are the only ones that don't try to kill each other throughout the
Yeah.
entire movie, unless you count the end scene where he tries to light the car on fire.
Yeah.
But so like the suggestion
Also, you had
there-
all day, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible.
Seriously, no. The suggestion there is that, they explained that the whole experiment was so that the people underground could control their real life counterparts.
Ooh.
And so, like, had they swapped, he was actually successful in being able to control his real life counterpart, which is in reality the red guy, the red kid. And so, to explain the burnt face. The idea there is that, you know how he kept flicking the lighter, doing the magic trick?
Yep.
Well, the kid underground, the red kid, was actually doing it and succeeding underground, and he was burning his face every time.
See, it's shit like this. So shit like this makes me angry that the reveal was so poorly handled, because now I'm starting to feel the way that you did feel when you see Get Out, which is, wait, there's 10 million more things I'm about to see. I'm very excited to find out all these cool things, but I'll be so upset that it's like,
You feel like you have it after
it would
you
be
watch.
like hitting 10 home runs in a baseball game and dropping the easiest fly ball in the world to lose your team the game. And it's like, man, what a great thing.
Like,
But
had I
how
just made
could
this
you
grab-
fuck that
Yeah.
one thing up so badly? That easy thing to not fuck up. How did you fuck that up? So maybe I'll end up having a frustrated relationship with this movie. But again, very, very good. Go see it.
Yeah. I very much thought that it was a really enjoyable movie, and I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. I just think that it's not the masterpiece that a lot of people are making it out to be, or that I've seen a lot of people making it out to be, but it is very much a worthy follow-up to Get Out, and it makes me still excited about everything Jordan Peele
Definitely.
is involved in moving forward.
Definitely. Have you seen Beetlejuice?
I have. I saw it for the first time this year.
Beetlejuice was on TV the other day, and it was just kind of on in the background, and I was keeping an eye on it. I'm for sure going to watch that movie.
Yeah, you've never seen it?
No, and it's our friend Brian's like favorite movie.
Really?
It's
a supremely weird and
Michael
fucked up movie.
Keaton, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Those are two of my favorite things. And my mind was blown young Alec Baldwin
Yep.
was Ryan Gosling.
He was hot, man.
He was
Hot as shit.
exactly like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, if Ryan Gosling ages like Alec Baldwin, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. But yeah, and Gina Davis is in it. Total babe.
Yeah,
Have you
there's
seen Thelma and Louise?
years and years and years ago.
We should do a Gina Davis / Beetlejuice episode soon where I watch Beetlejuice, you watch Thelma and Louise, and then we talk about how great both those movies are.
Okay.
I think that it would be a real treat for just us. That'd be very good.
Yeah, man. Beetlejuice is a work of art. It is the weirdest fucking movie ever, but it's a lot of fun.
Good.
And Michael Keaton is
We stand.
I had a very misguided view of Michael Keaton. I just had this interpretation that he was like a pretty straight-laced guy, like a George Clooney-esque veteran actor. That guy's been all over the fucking map.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's because they both played Batman that I was like, he's just like this boring old vanilla white guy.
Oh,
no,
no.
Michael Keaton is weird as shit.
I will put on a bad Michael Keaton movie and enjoy it. I'm watching Michael Keaton.
All right.
I ran down the road, pants down to my knees, screaming, please come help me. That Canadian shaman gave a little too much to me. And I'm riding on home because it's never been done before. Oh, the first house that I saw, I wrote house up on the door, Lord, and told the people